Hello world. Welcome back everybody to my channel. Today I'm actually going to be recreating this very specific part of Apple's AirPod Pro webpage, which is this interaction. I'm just going to scroll through here and show you guys what it looks like. I'm sure you've all seen this animation. It is definitely very popular and has been for the last couple of years, but I thought that I would recreate it in Webflow. Now, this video, I kind of want to go into a little bit of depth about how actually I sourced these images. So, if you look on Apple's actual website, the images for their the kind of animation, right? It isn't like a Lottie sequence or a video like you would expect. It's actually a sequence of images. Like it's just a bunch of images listed one after another, and based on your scroll position, as you kind of scroll, the image changes. So while I was coming up with the way to make this specific video, I didn't want to use all those images because obviously in Webflow it would take a very, very long time to get all those images lined up and set like a scroll animation, and that would be very tedious, and I was trying to figure out other ways to do it. So I thought, why not convert these images to a Lottie file? So that's the first thing I did. I went to Apple's website. I got all the images that I needed to make this animation, so I saved them onto my computer. And then I thought I would just find like an image to Lottie converter online, but I didn't. So I had to convert it to a video first. So I put them in Windows Photos. So I kind of grabbed all the images, made like a video out of it. And I had to change the duration on these clips, make them just, make it last just long enough so that it wouldn't look too drawn out, but it also wouldn't look too short. And then finally, I also had to take this video and then convert this video into Lottie and mess with the frame rates to make sure that it looked good. So yeah, that's what I ended up doing, just to make like this process smoother. And to make it easier for you guys, I just included the Lottie file in the description, so you don't have to go through every single image and do the process that I did. I just have the Lottie file linked for you guys, so you don't have to worry too much about trying to complete the process that I did. So now I think I just want to kind of give you a breakdown of what happens in this animation. That way when we do get to animating it, you kind of know why I'm animating the things that I'm animating. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the Lottie in the background. So as you can see, as you scroll, it changes, right? And then it kind of stays in the same frame, right, as it scales out. So it's staying in that same frame as it scales out, and obviously this text is coming up. And then when we come up to this last piece of text, it fades out completely. So that's the animation that we're going to be doing. So the Lottie, right, it stays at this particular frame for a while, right, and then it starts fading out while all this text ends as well. So that is it for the breakdown. Now let's just get right into the build. All right, so let's just get into it. Okay, so I just have this blank Webflow project, and the first thing I'm going to do is just drag in a div block. I'm going to call this hero and give it a width of 100% and just set flex to be vertical, like that. I'm also going to set the position to be relative, which will be important in a later step. So let me just grab another div, put it inside of here, call this background. Now I'm gonna give this a width of 100% and a height of 100 VH. Oh, how could I forget the most important steps? I'm gonna go back to the body, and I'm just gonna give it a background color of black. Okay, yes, sorry. Now back to where we were. I am going to drag in our Lottie animation, which again can be found in the description of this video. Just you can download it from that link. Okay, so this Lottie animation, I'm going to give it a class of Lottie. And really, I'm just going to give it a height of 80% and a maximum width of 1280 pixels. And what I'm going to do is grab this background and just center it. There we go, so it's straight in the middle. Okay. Right, so the next thing that we want to do is actually our text. So let's just get started on that. Okay, so I'm just gonna grab another div block, call this text container, give it a width of 100% and a maximum width of 1280 pixels. Is that what I said for this one, or did I mess that up too? Okay, never mind. I did not mess that up. 1280 pixels. Okay, now I'm just gonna set this to be flex and vertical, so the interaligned. And okay, that looks about right. Then inside here, I am going to grab another div, and I'm gonna call this heading container. This one is going to be set to, it doesn't really matter, flex horizontal, vertical. For this one, I'm just going to set it to horizontal. And it's going to have a width of 100% and a height of 100 VH. It's going to be set to position fixed. And it's going to be set to position fixed and 0 at the top. And then I am going to grab a heading. Just place it inside of here, and this is gonna have a class of heading, just heading, because we only have one of these anyways. It's just gonna say AirPods Pro. Oh, never mind, have to capitalize the P. Okay, we're gonna give it a font of System UI. It's gonna be white, and it's gonna be pretty big, so 150 pixels, like that. Okay, so that's our heading. I'm also gonna center line it. Okay, like that. So that is our heading. Now the next thing that we want to do is, again, drag another div, call this div scroll container. It's going to have a width of 100% and a height of 300 VH. We will fix this later, but just ignore it for now. So scroll container. Now I also want to give it a max width of 1280 pixels. And this is going to be set to position sticky, which will not work unless we set this thing to be position relative. And now inside of the scroll container, I'm going to drag another div, and I'm going to call this div scroll. This is going to have a height of 100 VH, and that's it for this one, right? And then we're also going to drag another div, call this para wrapper, which is basically paragraph wrapper. And there isn't going to be any styles applied on this, but we're going to need it later just so that it makes it easier for us to kind of look at our animations. It's going to have a combo class of 1, and I'm just going to make 4 of these and remove this combo class, make this one 2, get rid of this one, make this one 3, and get rid of this one, make this one 4. Okay, so there's 4 of these, and inside of here, just going to drag in a paragraph element. Should have probably duplicated them after I did this, but that's okay, right? These are going to be pretty much have the same settings as the other ones, the other heading, right? It's just going to be smaller and have some line height like that. Not that much text either. I don't remember what the text is. Okay, active noise cancellation for immersive sound. Again, not gonna remember that, so I'm just gonna grab that. Okay, so we actually can't access this right now because it's at a higher Z index. So I'm just gonna, how about I just set this heading container to be display none, just for now. We can bring it back again later. Active noise cancellation. Again, don't know why that's here. Okay, active noise cancellation for immersive sound. That's gonna be like that. And we're just gonna center align it. Do the same for all this other text. Transparency mode for hearing what's happening around you. For some reason, it's copying all the other text. Okay, well, that doesn't matter, does it? What am I doing? Okay, so copy, paste, paste, paste. There we go. Now we can just change the text. How about that? Transparency mode for hearing what's happening around you. Okay, what does this next say? Customizable fit for all day control. And the last one, sorry you have to hear me type, but I cannot deal with this copy paste right now magic like you've never. Okay, done. Okay, so now we're just going to, obviously this isn't how we want the website to look, right? This is just for us to design, and now we're just going to go back and set all the settings that we need to set to really get this animation to work. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab this paragraph wrapper and set it to be positioned absolutely. And then I'm going to grab this scroll and set this to be positioned sticky. And just set this for all of them, so position absolute. And this last one as well. Okay, and I'm just gonna grab the scroll container, set it to be flex so that it's in the middle, okay, like that. And I'm just gonna grab these para wrappers and give them all an opacity of 0. Wait, just gonna get rid of this combo class for now. Give them all an opacity of 0, and then I'll give it the combo class again. Okay. So that is our scroll. Now with this position sticky, for it to actually work, we have to hit 0 at the top, otherwise it's not going to work. So that's for scroll. Now we have to do the same thing for the scroll container. So sticky, and then hit 0. For our text container, we have to set this heading container to be displayed again. Flex, sorry. So that it's in the middle, right there. And then we need to grab our text container, set that to be relative, just because we have sticky on this, right? Then I'm gonna grab my background, and if I scroll right now, what you can see is that as we scroll, this background goes away, right? Which we don't want it to. We want that background to stick, and then the rest of the content to kind of move above it, right? So here's how we do that. So we grab the background, and we, again, hit position sticky, and then hit 0 again. So now if we go see it, yep, you can scroll all you want, but the Lottie is not gonna move. Okay, now it's time for us to actually design our animation. We have everything set up. Okay, so I'm gonna grab my hero here and just set an interaction. So do while scrolling in view. I'm gonna play a scroll animation. I'm gonna call this one AirPods Pro Scroll. AirPods Pro Scroll. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab my Lottie animation, like I explained, right? So at 0%, this Lottie is gonna be at 0%, and at 100%, well, it's gonna be at 100%. Okay, just gonna grab, and let's just see what happens. So let's just hit live preview, and let's just scroll through and see what happens. So let me just go back up. Just scroll through. Okay, So if you guys notice that, it's the animation as far as I scroll, right? Like this is as far as I can go. This is as far as I can go up, but it's starting at 25%, and that's because if I hit save just for a second, my animation boundaries. It said that it should play when element starts entering. And because this is already kind of in my hero page, I want to check that off and I want to hit when element is fully visible, okay? And then now if I try this animation and I start it, so it starts at 0%, so I can scroll all the way back up to 0, right? And if I scroll, I stop at 75. Okay, so I think that's where I'm going to end my animation. So I'm gonna hit, I want it to reach 100% at 75%, okay? Yes, so that is our Lottie. And also, if you guys, again, notice, right? It kind of reaches like this almost end state. So if I keep scrolling, right? It kind of lingers on the same kind of frame of this animation as it scales out. So that's also what we're gonna be doing. So at, let's say 35%, right? Let's see if I can, okay, so 35%, what I want this Lottie to do is at 35%, I want it to reach 90% of its Lottie animation, because that's when it kind of pauses and stays there. And at 75, that's when it starts to go to 100. So we're gonna do that, okay? And then what I also want to do is grab this kind of entire background and start scaling it down when it reaches that 35%. Okay, so I'm going to scale it so it's going to go from 1, and when we reach this kind of 75%, I want it to have scaled down all the way to 0.6. So by the time it ends, right, it's at 0.6% or 60% of its original width and height. Okay, so that is our Lottie animation, kind of like scrolling actions, right? But the next thing that we want to do is, if I just scroll back up, when we scroll through this, you see that this kind of heading disappears first, right? And then these kind of these text kind of pop up, right? These paragraph elements. So that's what we're going to worry about first. This this heading, this kind of big in the middle heading that says AirPods Pro. So that is our next focus. So at 0%, I want to grab this heading container, grab it, and I'm gonna hit move, right? I want it to have moved nothing, like at 0%, I want it to stay where it is, right? And then when it reaches, say, 20%, I want it to have kind of gone away from the screen. So move, and I'm just gonna hit negative 100 VH. So it's moved all the way up the screen. Okay. So that's when I reached 20%. Next, what I want to do was actually get started on our text. You know, these kind of text that kind of move up and they fade in and they fade out. So that's what we want to do. Now we're going to be doing a lot of duplicating during this. So let me just start with the first one, and then we're just going to keep duplicating and changing the class names. So I'll close all these up for now. And I'm just going to grab my para wrapper right here. And at 35%, so like when this, when it kind of stops its animation, right, this is what I want to start animating. So I'm going to grab my paragraph wrapper, and I'm going to move it 60 pixels. That means it goes down 60 pixels, right? And then and then I also want to give it an opacity of 0%, and then I want to animate this opacity and this moving. So I want to go to 40%, let's say, and move it 0 pixels, so return it to its original state. And then I also want to give it an opacity of 100. Okay, and then next what I want to do is at 45%, 45, actually I can just change that. So at 45%, I want the opacity to have gone back to 0. So I'll hit 45 here. Okay, now let's just kind of view that and see what we have so far. Just gonna scroll. You kind of have to go back because it, yeah, there. Gonna scroll down. Okay, so we have our image popping up, right? Okay, perfect. Now we just have to keep repeating these kind of 5 steps of our animation for all the other 3. so I'm just gonna copy all this. So I just hit the first one, and I hit shift and I grabbed until the last one, and I'm gonna right click and I'm gonna hit duplicate. And this is very confusing, so just don't click away. So wherever you are right now, just grab that, and I'm just gonna move it all to 45% right now. And then I'm gonna select the next two over here. So these two, the kind of this, so this is the fourth one down, right? Or yeah, the fourth one down. I'm just gonna grab these two and I'm gonna hit 50% on this one. And I'm gonna grab the last one here and hit 55. And what I want to do is just, did I lose it? No. Okay, so that was let's just grab all these four again. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to hit duplicate. Now the first thing I want to do before I do anything else is I'm going to hit change target. Okay, so right click, hit change target, and I'm going to select the second wrapper here. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to very carefully move them all to 45%. And then I'm going to grab these second set of move in opacity, and I'm going to move that to 50%. And then I'm going to grab this last set of opacity and move that to 55%. Okay, so let's just try that and see if that's working. Okay, that's working. Now we're just going to duplicate it all over again, just follow the same steps. So duplicate, right click, change target, and I'm going to grab the third one. Okay, did that work? That worked. Okay, just look here to find your combo class. Again, this is why this is much more helpful now. And then I'm just going to drag it all the way to 55. Okay, grab the second set of move in opacity, make that move to 60. Grab this last one, move that to 65. Okay, just going to copy again, last one. So duplicate first, right click, change target, grab our last one. Does it say 4? It says 4. Just going to move it all to 65 now. Okay, second set of move in opacity, go to 70. And then this last set of opacity goes to 75. Now, if we just check that and see if that happens. One more time. Sorry, let's just go back up. Okay, so that works. That works. That also works. Okay. Perfect. So that is our entire animation. Let me just hit save, and then we'll go view it in here. So scroll all the way back up and go very slowly through this whole process. Okay, so that was it for creating this kind of interaction in this AirPods Pro interaction in Webflow. Now, that is going to be it for this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments below if you liked this sort of shorter video that didn't do like an entire website rebuild and just did like a specific part. Yeah, so let me know in the comments what you think. Do you prefer the other kinds of videos I do or this one in particular? And yeah, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and check out my Instagram, subscribe to this channel, and like this video if you, well, liked it. Okay, that's it. Bye now.